Dude, what up?
What up, homie? How you
How's it
doing,
going?
buddy?
Doing fantastic. Doing amazing. Doing fabulous.
Dude, 400, man. 400 falls on Friday. There's a couple things of significance. 400 episodes falling on Level Up. So we're going to do a Level Up today, just you and I.
Yeah.
Uh, Tomorrow, when this comes out, tomorrow, Navy is going to beat Army. And yeah, pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I see you wearing some Navy gear.
Every day, man. Every day. Something Navy.
I like it.
Something Navy this week.
I like
I
it.
sent my kids to school in Navied up too. I mean,
That's a good call. I should do
it's
that.
Navy week, bro. It's Navy week.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Episode 400, dude. It's crazy. 400 episodes. That's
It's pretty nuts, man.
that's
I
good.
think when we started this, gosh, what was it? I don't even know when we started. Years ago,
Yeah.
four, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it is. I don't. One, I would have never anticipated the blessing that I've gotten through the podcast, and two, I don't know that I necessarily would have thought we'd still be doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
dude.
great.
What I think has been really cool is really all the advice that we receive from just incredible human beings. And, for me at least, I've taken a lot of advice and put it into action. And I've truly seen how it has positively impacted my life, my family's life, my health. I mean, just all around, man. It's been really cool just to be a part of. I'm so thankful for all of our guests, everyone who has said yes to coming on and just talking with us two knuckleheads. It's been cool.
Yeah, man. I've had some amazing conversations that have absolutely been life changing, and this platform is a blessing that has enabled a lot of yeses that otherwise would not have been conversations that we would have enjoyed. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good stuff. And as we aim to improve and to level up our games to best serve not only our audience but also those who agree to come on the show. I think that's an important aspect too. Is constant improvement on our side and just trying to honor that time as best we can, right? And honor the commitment that those folks are making because they're awesome people. Dude, it's been incredible. It's been
Yeah.
incredible. So up your game, dude. Level up.
Let's get into it. So we decided we would give our own level up advice for episode 400, based on all the level up advice that we've received from other guests. And now it's time to share our own. You want to start? Let's review the question first. Let's review the question first.
Yes, the level up question is what is the one action you've taken to level up in your home and your business, right? Like what's the one action that you've taken that has really driven you to level up in those places? And for me, the word intentionality keeps coming to mind, but how that's such a I think overused word, and I also think it if not applied specifically, it really like anything else is somewhat meaningless, like success and I want to be happy and like stuff like that, right? It just doesn't. I'm comfortable. I want to be comfortable. It really has no meaning. And so for me, intentionality, the way that it's manifested both in my home and even I say professionally is one of the favorite things that I had committed to is I had often said, hey man, I'm gonna pray for you. And this happened again last night. Now it happens almost on a daily basis. But I had committed this year to instead of saying I'm going to pray for you and write it down, and I do write it down and have a prayer list of folks, but I've just started praying in the moment. Like instead of saying, "Hey, can I pray for you? I'll be praying for you. You're on my list, whatever." I'm like, "Hey, can I pray for you right now?" And what that has done is it showed. I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I say, "Hey, man, I'll be praying for you," I used to. I've gotten much better about it, but I used to say that, and then I'd forget like in 10 minutes, right? Or maybe I'd do a silent prayer in that moment, never pray for him again. Um, but it has been something that has within my family, praying over my kids, so they can hear me, so they hear the blessing, so they hear not only a model of talking to God, talking to Jesus, but also that they know my prayers for them has been pretty cool. And then just like people are even Christians are like, oh, yeah, let's do it. It'd be great. And especially non-Christians, like, sure, I guess, it's fine. But it just shows a different level of commitment, not only to them, but it forces me to level up in something that I say is important to me, which is prayer, which is Jesus, which is really um, claiming in faith that when we go to the kingdom, the king of the universe, that things happen and blessings are real and miracles can happen and all those things. So that's been an area that I've been very intentional and committed to, not only to my personal faith, but to bringing my faith into relationship, into conversation. Um, it's been awesome, dude. It's been incredible. And then on the same note, it's impacted my personal and professional life. Just going to God and being like, hey, I am here open handed. Please guide me, and genuinely seeking to release control and be led. And this all sounds very spiritual, and it is spiritual, but if you take your faith seriously, I take my faith seriously. And as if I want to take it more seriously, do I truly, the questions we ask in the Kinetic Man and different conversations we have, do I truly have faith? Or am I like giving snippets to God and then like holding control of like, well, yeah, but this piece, I'm going to keep this, and that part, I'm going to take that for me, and I'll manage those things because, of course, I'm more capable than God. And so that's led to, as I did that, that's led to us changing the community. As we both have done that, it's led us to change the community and doing things differently, changing our focus. And then for me personally, it's also opened doors of something that I'm extremely passionate about now, like C12 and different things that I believe God has blessed me in certain ways, and He opened different opportunities and doors to walk through. And so I think those again, it's spiritual, but as a Christian, if our spirituality is not driving our daily interactions in our homes and professionally, um I don't know how real, for me, this is not a judgment on anybody. For me, I don't know how real my faith truly is if I'm not reliant on it to level me up in all these areas of my life. And so really surrendering that has been transformative for me.
It's good, man. I should have gone first because I think you stole. We did not talk about this ahead of time. But I was going to say prayer as well, but maybe I'll come at it from a different light, or a viewpoint of it. If I was to say it differently than just praying, um, I think in the past when I talked about or even did or tried made an attempt at prayer, it was very structured, right? Very um, just thank yous, right? Thank you for the roof over our house. Thank you for the food. And it was kind of like quick and not really relational, right? Um, to me, something this year has happened spiritually where I've realized and have grown into, like, no kidding, seeing God, seeing Jesus as like a friend, as a father, as a brother, as someone that I have a relationship with. And my prayers have changed drastically this year to where it's more of, like, no kidding, just conversations. And I think it was Nathaniel Blackburn that we had on the two-part series where he mentioned, like, he would just like be driving down the road and he would like look over to his empty passenger seat and just like start talking to Jesus about like whatever's on his mind and having conversations with him. And that's kind of stuck with me, and I've been doing more of that type of thing. And at the very end of the book of John Mark Comer's book, God Has a Name, he talks about contemplation. And I think that for me, if I was going to describe it, as contemplating God a whole lot more and worshiping in that. Um, my morning routine has been very much more focused spiritually on that type of thing. Taking and reflecting on a on a verse in the Bible. Reading, you and I have been going through the Bible in a year. We've finished that up, but like contemplating like a verse, a word, a passage, and then journaling on it, and then sitting in it. Just the morning silence and solitude has been really impactful for me this year. And then getting outside in nature. And I've been doing a lot of like morning walks. Sometimes I'll do a ruck, add a backpack with some weight. I'm getting out in nature and walking around our neighborhood, going down to the lake by our house, sitting on a bench and just like being in wonder of his creation, and just contemplating that, right? Contemplating and just worshiping in that. And I've really seen a difference in my heart spiritually. And interestingly, I've seen a lot more prayers be answered this year. Um, when I started having a relationship with him, when I started looking at him as like someone that I can know, can talk to and hear from and listen to and worship, uh, it's really changed for me. I can't tell you, man. Like I'd say probably in the last 4 months of saying specific prayers and asking and having requests, a, a lot of them have come true. And some of them are like the next day, like the next morning. No kidding. Like something has come to fruition based off of the prayer that I just said and that I wrote down. It's been incredible for me this journey this year in my prayer life. So for me, leveling up this year was, no kidding, praying in a way uh, that is in conversation, that is in contemplation, that is in worship of Jesus, not just the standard kind of quick prayer at dinner to thank him for our food. Has been life changing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think it's interesting because I think when people talk about spiritual things, and there's a tendency on the other side of that for people to hear, oh man, you're just over spiritualizing things. It's interesting to me because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about, she was going through some hard times, and we were talking through the idea of being highly favored and highly troubled, right? And that those it's not an or, it's an often an and it was in the just consequently the sermon this weekend was surrounding the Christmas story, but from Mary's perspective. And my pastor was like, dude, you think like Mary was like, oh, thank you, God, I'm so highly favored
Yeah.
because one, I have to deal with the scandal of being pregnant, right?
Yeah. And still
But
being a
still,
virgin, so to speak.
and still being a virgin, but who's going to believe me?
Yeah,
Like
right.
he was just painting a different picture. He's like, Joseph doesn't even believe me,
Yeah.
and it required a visitation from an angel to Joseph to be like, hey, dude, like this is for real. Um, and then, walking 90 miles when you're 9 months pregnant, having a baby in a manger, like any of us who are dads and went through with our wives the childbirthing process, like doing that in a manger on a cold night and by yourself, no family. Like, dude, it just was an interesting, he painted a very interesting picture. And this lady that I was talking to was also, as she was talking about it, one of the things that came to mind is like, God, he wants what you just talked about, Stu, right? He can handle it. He created us. If you're mad, like just be like, God, I'm like really mad at you right now.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he can't handle that? And the other side of that is I've said that to you, like Stu, like I'm annoyed at you. Like I'm
Yeah.
annoyed at this thing you did. I'm frustrated. Well, dude, like that's relational.
Yeah.
That's real. And why would not Jesus want us to be in relationship, not just, oh, holy Jesus. Yes, that is absolutely an aspect, but to deny your feelings and to not deny your confusion is not right. That's not spiritual. That's it's a shallow relationship at that point. And so I really appreciate how you highlight that. And I think the other side of it is too, there's a lot of practical application when you focus on this aspect of it, and it's so interesting to me because there's so many books out there, secular books that talk about the universe, and I went to the universe and I had manifestations of mental whatever, and there's a very spiritual language being used, but a strong attempt not to do it to a God and to Jesus Christ specifically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we all realize the power of our place in this universe, the power being like how insignificant we are, but what an impact we can make through something greater than ourselves. And dude, it's I think it's a critical aspect that we need to spend more time in, right? And
Yeah.
especially if you claim faith. It also drives very direct actions. If you're faith driven, you start looking at verses to talk about the fruit of the spirit. Like the fruit is fruit. That is what comes out of your spiritual life. It's not hypothetical fruit. It's like, no kidding, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, right? Like it's those things. If you're diving into this aspect of your life, it inevitably is going to impact the very tangible aspects of your life.
Yeah.
And that's where I think people they don't make the connection between, dude, if I'm committed to this, it's not, I'm not over spiritualizing anything. This directly impacts how I treat my friends, how I treat my wife, my kids, and how I conduct my life. And if it doesn't, that should be a wake up call. Like, okay, well then maybe I'm just not very serious about my faith.
Yeah. We would need to keep this short for a Friday episode, but just one more thing that I've seen that hasn't impacted you and me in our own lives, but just the power of prayer alone within the Kinetic Man. We have a prayer request WhatsApp chat group, and men will post some stuff in there, and we've seen firsthand. You and I have talked to a close friend of ours who's a part of our group in a tough situation. Was going into the situation, but then decided to pray last minute, and something happened where completely flipped on its head, 180 to the positive for him and his family. And they were praying right before it started. And then we were praying. Kinetic men were praying for this individual. And dude, like his life has probably shifted tremendously in this one area of his life. Uh, and I think it's the power of prayer, dude. It's just I was blown away when I received the message from him of what happened. So yeah, man, I'm all in on prayer. Moving forward, I think it is powerful, and it has leveled up my life for sure.
Amen.
See ya.
See,